My name is Robbie Madison, and I am a friend of the pastor with no answers. But I actually think he has quite a few good answers in him. So, actually, I think...
All right, thank you. All right, welcome to a mini episode of Pastor with No Answers, where I get to do what I want. And today I want to sit down with a friend, someone I see almost every day, someone whose smile makes me smile, and just an all-around good buddy, Robbie Madison, who is one unbelievable musician, singer, youth pastor, worship leader, husband. I think he may be even an angel. I'll find out soon. He won't tell me one way or the other. Like, he won't give me a solid, straightforward answer. So we talk a good bit about his new music and his interaction with the New England Patriots. But anyway, before we get started, I wanted to point you in the direction of RobbieMadison.com. So if you want to go on there and check it out and see his Colgate smile and hear about his music projects and even support it or contact him, asking him any questions, by all means, go to RobbieMadison.com and reach out to him. Peace out. All right, so we've been pretty much hanging out all day, and Priscilla tells me I get in like a mode. So am I talking differently, Robbie? Welcome to Pastor with No Answers. Am I talking differently all of a sudden?
Oh, yeah.
Have I been talking to you this way all day?
No.
Oh, man.
It's okay. At least I hear your podcast voice.
There you go.
Very, very often. So
There you go. So sitting here with a friend, Robbie Madison. We've now worked together, I guess, coming up on 2 years, and it's neat because we're really good friends.
Yeah.
It's working with a friend, and you got to work here when Toby was here too. How was that? Did you lose sleep? Did you get migraines or? Seriously, you guys are both very gifted in different ways. How was that kind of merging y'all's abilities and
it was great.
Doing worship on Sundays?
For me, it was really great because Toby and I met in a couple writing sessions where we met with some worship leaders and we just tried to get together for a couple hours to write songs together. So he was just like somebody who I had heard about, and then now it's like, oh, now I've worked with him, and then I came on staff with him, and so that was great because he was kind of the one familiar face that I knew on staff.
Yeah.
And then hearing the kind of music that he did with Emery and stuff was really intriguing to me. Kept trying to get him to scream on Sunday mornings, but he told me he wouldn't do it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, he is something else. I remember when we were discussing hiring you. We seriously had conversations that sounded kind of like this. He was like, "Dude, I think he's kind of perfect. Like,
oh my God.
Like he may be a perfect human being. He's just so nice. He's a great leader," and it was crazy. So if obviously, I'm trying to put my mind somewhere that's not Robbie and Joey friends right now because I see you through those lenses, but there's no way of getting around. You are kind of a big deal that a lot of people don't know about yet. You just are, man. You go to the New England Patriots to lead worship services. Yeah. Holy cow, that's like a really big deal.
Yeah.
And you don't care anything about football.
Nope.
You just don't even care.
I watch the Patriots every now and then now, but
and my favorite question to ask, does Tom Brady ever show up for your worship?
No comment. I plead the fifth.
How'd you tell people how you made that connection with the Patriots?
Yeah, so I actually I have a friend that I went to college with that we did campus ministry together about 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And then after I graduated, we kind of ended up doing ministry in the same city, and he worked with the Gamecock athletes. And so he recruited me to be his worship leader with a lot of his outreach to athletes. And of course he knows my heart as a worship leader. He also knows that I don't know a lot about sports or athletes. So it was more about getting them to connect with God.
Yeah.
So I started working with him with the Gamecocks, and I remember the first day I was next to Dylan Thompson, and I looked at him and I said, "So, do you play a sport?" And he was like, "Yeah, I play football." I was like, "Oh, awesome. What position are you?" He was like, "The quarterback." And then I was like, "Yeah, I probably should have known that." And he was like, "No, it's not important." And so we did Gamecock Bible studies once a week for about three
That's
and a
too
half
bad,
years.
man. That's too bad.
Oh yeah. And so
I mean, I would be totally fine if you gave them a false gospel and
man.
they all
Yeah, it was awesome.
So he moved on to the Patriots.
Well, he actually was with the Patriots then too. He's been with them about 6 years. So he would fly up to Boston every weekend and be in Columbia during the week, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And so about 3 years ago, he said that the Patriots wanted to try having worship. So he asked me to.
That was Belichick that made that decision, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
No, I'll tell you, that was not his decision.
Now I will say, like there are quite a few coaches that do come.
Yeah, that's cool.
To the worship meetings. I don't think Belichick was there, but like I said, I'm not the person to ask.
Oh, I would love to see him praise, boy. I'd love to see him get his praise on.
Yeah. So yeah, like it was really quick. He was like, "Can you come up?" I was like, "Yeah, just let me know when." He's like, "All right, next week."
Gee.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And there's one, or do they always fly you out on a private jet?
No. So the way that happened, was because I'm a worship leader and I have to be back on Sundays.
Yeah.
A lot of times there's not any flights on Saturday night, so they were like, "Well, we'll just fly you on the private jet and get you up there and back." And so we went up one time on the jet, and it was amazing. It was like the funnest flight experience I've ever had. So yeah, that's cool.
So all joking aside, I mean, and if I won't make you speak for yourself, so I'll just say, a lot of our listeners know I'm big into music, and a lot of people respect Toby and what he's done. So, I mean, both of us acknowledge your talent, ability, and, I mean, you really do have a gift. Like, I would imagine, do you ever feel, and not in any sort of arrogance or anything like that, but do you ever feel like if a lot of people heard me, I could be really good and, maybe have opportunities to open up for, what I'm saying? Like, does your mind ever go there like, I can do some stuff that these famous people are doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think like ever since I was a kid, I had dreams of, performing all over the world and performing with the names that are kind of the great names out there and whatnot. And so I never was a showy person.
Right.
I actually was very shy growing up. But when I went to college, I actually majored in performance there. And so, and I went to a performing arts school growing up too. So there were definitely those thoughts that at some point something would happen, like a discovery or whatever that would put me in front of people to do that. And so I've always just kind of worked on my craft because I know that it was a talent that the Lord gave me, and I really enjoyed like the intricate parts of it, harmony and control and all that stuff. And so I always kind of thought that it would end that way, but like honestly, in my story of my music career, there's been a lot of closed doors, I would say. So even now, whenever I perform around people, I get it a lot. I get a lot of people that say, "Oh man, you need to be on a bigger stage or whatever." And I'm partially chilling where I'm at, but then also at the same time, like just trying to network and connect with other people too. Yeah, just so I can keep creating.
So closed doors, that would be Broadway, American Idol, and like America's Got Talent and stuff like that. And some of like American Idol, it was. I mean, maybe they didn't come right out and say this, but it's almost like your voice is too good. We're not looking for music majors, and that's frustrating, I guess, as a consumer of entertainment. Like, why wouldn't you just it seems like you advertise yourself as a show that picks the best. Just pick the best.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
America would fall in love with you, man. So how did they articulate that, or do they even offer you an explanation?
They don't. They don't.
Yeah.
Like most auditions are very quick. They're 30 to 45 seconds at a time. I've literally gone to many auditions. Like my first, I've auditioned for The Voice 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Most people don't even know that because I go up, like there's no guarantee there. You go up, you're in a room with 10 people, they call your name, you get 30 seconds. And then at the end of it, they just choose 1 or 2 names out of that group to move on to the next round. Every single time that I've auditioned for either The Voice or America's Got Talent or whatever, all the contestants are cheering for me. The ones that are competing against me, they're literally cheering while I'm singing, and I've never gotten past the first round. So it's weird. It's very strange because I have been performing my whole life. Like I have a degree in performance, so I know what a lot of people are looking for too. So I even know the flash stuff, that people do on the shows and stuff. So it's kind of strange. But.
And I've learned from you that Broadway, they only call if it's a yes. They don't even call if it's a no.
Oh yeah, you'll be waiting for months.
Those bastards. That is tough, man. I mean, that's like, you don't do that with job interviews.
Right.
I mean, you are called and you're told, hey, you did not get this job.
So you just, like 6 months goes by and you just have to assume.
Gosh, that is just crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us about this song that we're going to let everybody hear, and how in the world did you get hooked up? Well, tell us about the hookup. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I wrote a song 6 or 7 years ago. It was just, for me, it was just a simple melody that came to me, and it was based off of a Psalm series. It was a few verses from Psalm 23, and the song is actually called Psalm 23. I wrote it just on piano. I heard lots of other instruments in my head when I went to record it, but it just took me a little while to gain the resources and the musicians and the producer and all that stuff together. But this past year, I actually, like, all those 3 elements kind of came together to where I could open it up. And there's been a producer that's been wanting to work with me for a couple years, so I thought this would be a really great opportunity for a collaboration.
Yeah.
And he actually worked in Nashville for a long time. So he's very well connected, and he's worked with a lot of artists. And so when I presented it to him, I said, I want this song to be more so done on natural instruments. Like, I was like, I'm not really picky about a lot of stuff, but I need a grand piano. And so I was like, and I need, percussion and, acoustic guitars. I would love to have a violin. I would love to have a cellist, something like that. And then just like simple harmonies and whatnot. And he said, that sounds good. Like, violin and cello, I might be able to get the London Philharmonic Orchestra to play on it.
Did you thought he was kidding?
Well, I think I was a little bit in shock by the comment at first. And then I was like, well, I feel like he's telling the truth. So I just kind of looked at him and was like, well, that could work. That could work too,
I like that idea.
I like that idea better than my 1 violin and 1 cello idea. So he was going to just call and see if he could work it out. And he called me back and he said, look, there might be a little window. So if you're not crunched for time, we might have to wait about a month. But if we can wait a month, then we can get them to play on your single. And I was like, yes, I've waited 6 years. I can wait another month to have the London Philharmonic on it. So they sent it off. The music was orchestrated by a guy in Nashville, and he did a great job with that. They sent it off, and then I got a picture on my cell phone the Saturday morning right after the Philharmonic recorded. He said, this happened while you were sleeping. There's a picture of the Philharmonic playing on it. It's incredible.
Wow.
Incredible.
That is unreal.
Yeah.
So you are en route to completing a whole album, correct?
Yeah.
And so I know you, when I first met you, I found out that you were big into stuff like King's Kaleidoscope and Citizens and Saints and that sort of thing. But you are, so I don't even know how to say this sort of stuff, professionally trained, or you have degrees in jazz and classical?
Yeah, so I grew up doing classical music, and then also both my mom and my stepfather were both music directors in the gospel
Yeah.
scene in Charleston, and they actually built a lot of like choirs and then also gospel music. And my stepdad was really big into jazz as well. We had the first gospel recording music studio in Charleston growing up, so I was
Nice.
always exposed to a lot of that. So those were my roots, was like classical and gospel, which are very different.
Yeah.
So when I got a little older, I went to performing arts school, and then I majored in classical music performance, and then
Yeah.
I minored in jazz studies,
Yeah.
just so that I could kind of be well-rounded. And I felt like it helped me with a lot of other genres. After that, I got into contemporary Christian music and rock music. So as I started singing that, some of the elements from jazz and gospel kind of bled through that, which is
Nice.
part of the reason why I like King's Kaleidoscope so
Yeah.
much, is because they're very eclectic, and the writing style, the instrument choice that they use is very multi-genre. I hear like hip hop elements, I hear
Yeah.
classical elements, just all across the board. And that's kind of my experience too, because like, I mean, I might be singing in a jazz club, or I might be singing at
Yeah.
church on Sunday, and some people have problems with that, but that's like that's who I am on
Yeah.
the inside. So my writing kind of reflects that. It reflects like, I think creativity comes from the great creator from above. And
Right.
so like we can't just like limit it to one little style, because he's not limited to that. So my goal and my vision for the CD is that for it to have some elements of jazz, and for it to have some elements of like R&B and funk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But to sing about some real stuff
Yeah.
too.
Well, I love the song. Thanks for talking, and let's go ahead and listen to it.
Yeah, thanks.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie in green pastures, and He leads me and restores me. Surely goodness and love will follow 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 me. And He leads me and restores me, and He leads me and restores me, and He leads me and restores me, and He leads me and restores me. Surely goodness and love will follow me. Surely goodness and love will follow me. Surely goodness goodness and love will follow me. Surely goodness and love will follow